Yastuna nava iva tantubi pradana jaye svabhavato deva ekaha svama brinut sano dada brahmapyayam. Just as a spider maintains a close vigilance over all parts of its web, while sitting immobile in its center, similarly Purushottama exists at the nucleus of the universe as the witnessing entity, free from the influence of Prakriti. The Rishi says that the Supreme Entity, who is creating the vast universe with his immanent power, guide our pinnacled intellect so that we can realize him in the true light. Only Paramapurusha has the capacity to impart the knowledge of intuitional science, and then by his grace alone. If he does not teach, how can one learn? In the absence of true knowledge, one will fall into the snares of the material world. One should pray to him to awaken one's intellect, so that one can realize from the depths of one's being that I am Brahma. In the Vedas, a prayer is often made to Brahma, asking him to provide inspiration to all microcosms to connect their intellect to cosmic consciousness. Sano Buddhyar Shubhaya Samyunaktu. This is the main theme of the Savitri Rik Gayatri mantra, is this Diyo Yo Naha Prashodayat, as the cause behind this expressed universe. Does the Supreme Entity perform actions? In one sense he does, and in another sense he doesn't. If one wishes to know whether he does or does not, one will have to become one with him. There is no other alternative. Eko devaha sarva bhutesho buddhaha sarva vyapi sarva bhutantaratma karma yaksha sarva bhuta divashaha sakshisheta kevalo nirgunasha shveta shvataro panishad. That supreme singular entity, reflected in all mental plates and permeating all fundamental factors, is lying covered everywhere. He pervades everything, manifested or unmanifested, thinkable or unthinkable. He is Paramatman, the origin of all Jivatmas, the inner consciousness of all. Although he is not the direct author of actions, he is the supreme controller of all actions. All entities gain their power from the power he radiates in his imaginative flow. All entities gain the strength to act from his strength. The cognitive faculty of all microcosms is contained in his consciousness. A microcosm is nothing but an infinitesimal part of the macrocosm. Just as a spark is a tiny fraction of the huge fire, he is Sarva Bhuta Divasa, the vast shelter of all fundamental factors. Every incident of this universe takes place within his mind. Every entity is a creation of his vast imagination. He does not require hand and legs to do his work. He guides and rejuvenates all with his psychic power. He observes the game of the universe, its microcosms and flow of energy as a silent witness, remaining hidden behind the divine game of endless bliss. He exists as unassailed Purusha, Saksi Sheta Kevalaha Nirgunasha. For recognition of actional expression, his witnessship is necessary. Hence he is the witness to every phenomenon. The capacity of witnessship is only possible for a conscious entity. He is the consciousness personified. He is one and only one, being above the gunas, qualities. He is Gunadisha, Gunatita or Nirguna, non-attributional. Ekovashi Nirkriyanam Bahunam Ekam Bijam Bahudaha Yaha Kotita Tamatmashtam Yena Pashanti Dira Stesyam Sukaram Shashvatam Neshariram. People generally surrender to a person who is endowed with greater physical, psychic, or spiritual power than themselves. Parama Brahma is superior to all in all respects. He is the greatest of all, hence the entire universe is under his control. In the absence of power from this supreme authority, all the created entities would lose their vital force. By providing vocal power, he makes the mute eloquent, and by providing the power of movement, he makes the lame traverse mountains. He is one, but the potentialities of an infinite number of seeds lie within him. Whatever you create in your mind, be it a cow, a horse, or a goat, you cannot give it an independent mind or make it a separate entity. Your mind is a singular entity. You do not have any power to divide it. But the cosmic entity possesses infinite mental power. He alone has the capacity to create numerous entities out of his mental body. Intelligent people realize Paramapurusha deep in their unit souls after surrendering themselves at his divine altar. Only by becoming one with him does one attain the infinite and eternal. To merge in him, the path of self-surrender is the only path. Wealth cannot help one to attain him. One cannot buy the mind or devotion with money. In order to receive devotion, one must give devotion. One has to give a similar object in exchange for the object one desires. If you want something material, such as rice, pulse, oil, or salt, you will have to pay with something material, money. If you want to attract the attention of someone's mind, you will have to give your mind in return. If you want to win over a subtle mind, crude money will not help you. To attain Paramatman, you will have to offer your Jivatman. You should not hold back even a small fraction of your existential life feeling, but sacrifice your entire self in the fire of Brahma. Remember, where I exist, he does not, and where he exists, I do not. If you think you can buy rice without spending your money, you are mistaken. Your money will stay in your pocket, and the rice will remain in the shop. You will never hold it in your hands. Similarly, if you cling to the remnants of your existential life feeling, you will never attain Brahma. Those who practice the cult of self-surrender are wise, the rest are fools. The Rishi says, inferior people, people of animal nature, are afraid of the cult of surrender, and can never hope to merge in him. Nitya nityanam shetan shetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman tatkaranan samkhya yogadi kamyam janatva deva muchyate sarva pashaye. The quality of permanence of those entities of the world we consider as permanent comes from him alone. To the transient mundane objects, Jivatman is a permanent entity, but this permanence is fully dependent on the grace of Paramatman. All animate objects acquire their psychic power, their consciousness from him and him alone. He is the consciousness of all conscious entities. He, the supreme singular entity, provides each microcosm with the object it requires according to the intensity of its respective desires. To the creatures living in the deep depths of the vast ocean, he has provided sensitive feelers, fins and protective scales for the fulfillment of their long-cherished desires. To the aquatic creatures he has given the capacity to radiate light. To those animals who have nurtured the desire to defeat their powerful foes, he has provided weapons, deadly poison, sharp claws, long horns, and intelligent minds, and for those animals who wish to escape attack, he has provided defense mechanisms, such as lightning speed and camouflage. Due to his unique magnanimity and benevolent consideration for others, he is the Lord of the universe. When you develop this magnanimity and spirit of well-being for others, you will also become one with him. All the philosophical treatises, such as the Samkhya and the entire spiritual cult, have been propounded to help human beings to attain him. Parama Brahma, the only true goal. After attaining him, or even by ideating on him, one's small mind will expand to the size of the vast cosmic mind, snapping all the bondages of the fetters, pashas, and the enemies, ripus, which had hitherto kept the mind limited. This process of expanding the mind to attain liberation from the bondages of fetters and enemies is sadhana, and the best method of sadhana is Ishvara Pranidhana. Will it suffice to practice Ishvara Pranidhana while sitting alone at home? The one who performs bad actions in society and attempts to practice Ishvara Pranidhana at home for hours will not succeed. Impure thoughts will certainly flash in the mind and disturb the smooth flow of the process of meditation. One cannot be successful in Ishvara Pranidhana if one does not sincerely observe the other points of Yama and Niyama in the external world. Those who say that the practice of Dharma is purely an individual affair are mistaken. Dharma is very much the concern of the entire society. Unless one's sincere endeavor to follow the path of Dharma is extended to collective life, one will never free the mind from the bondages of pettiness, and sitting in a closed room in the name of Dharma sadhana will be an utter waste of time.